Tonight on Joy News Prime, 3 police officers have been interdicted after they were found to have brutalized a suspect in custody to death and then buried his corpse.
One opening Asuman. The second, the Achamehene of Sefa, together with other boys, assisted him, had a place, dug a grave, and buried him.
The family of the deceased is challenging claims by the interdicted officers that they did not cause the death of the suspect. Also in this bulletin, actress Rosamund Brown, aka Akuapem Polo, finally released 3 days after the court granted her bail. Her lawyer is blaming the bureaucracy for the delay.
She's amazing. She was like, wow, so I have the good people of Ghana supporting my cause like this. She realized that more people are supporting her than those that are not supporting her. So it's like I see those supporting her in the majority.
Elsewhere, plaintiff almost got jailed for showing up in court without a face mask.
To save a lot of people who were caught up at police barriers without face masks. But what happened today is that this morning I had a stomach upset. That's how come I came without a face mask.
Renowned lawyer and academician, the paramount chief of Asante Asokore, Dr. Nana SKB Asante, has reiterated calls for the powers of the president to be reduced. And in business, work on a major railway connection between Ghana and Burkina Faso expected to begin by the middle of next year. 3 firms have been shortlisted for the execution of the project. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Joy News Prime comes to you live from our studios in Kokomlemle on your digital terrestrial TV, because we're free to air, also on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 144. Remember, this is the home of independent, fearless, credible and impactful journalism. Do stay tuned in. Many thanks for choosing us. In our very first story, actress Rosamund Brown, also known as Akuapem Polo, has finally been released from prison on bail pending her appeal. Her release comes 3 days after the court granted her bail. Her lawyer, Andrew Votia, explains this was due to some bureaucratic hurdles she had to scale. Joy News' Kwekwa Asante was with actress's legal team Friday as she was sent to the High Court to finalize her bail processes before being taken back to Nsawam for more paperwork.
3 days after a High Court granted her bail, Akuapem Polo has regained her freedom, at least temporarily, after she fully satisfied the bail conditions as set out by the Criminal Division of the Accra High Court. She had one last thing to do after signing documents in court Friday morning. That was to return to Nsawam prison and sign out, then return home to be with her 7-year-old son. According to her lawyer, Andrew Votia, her client has grown slim and pale and has been in very low spirits, having spent at least 2 days in jail after she was convicted.
I consider her spirit is still very, very low. She appears very slim, pale. Yeah, but I haven't seen the part of the family, seeing the lawyer. At least I believe that by this time her spirit is getting up.
Andrew Votia added that the actress is amazed and grateful for all the support she has received from the public since her incarceration.
She's amazing. She was like, wow, so I have the good people of Ghana supporting my cause like this. She realized that more people are supporting her than those that are not supporting her. So it's like I see those supporting her in the majority. Yeah.
Mr. Votia explained that he had taken 3 days to fully process her bail because of the bureaucratic processes they had to navigate to secure the freedom of the actress.
On the day we served the police with the motion for bail pending appeal, apparently they were already on the way to Nsawam, where we were arguing out our bail at the court. So having secured the bail, we have to draw the order and have it served on the police as well as Director of Prisons. So that was done. So it took, this bureaucratic system. It took some time before the order got to them. And now everything has been finalized. This morning, she just signed the bail. And as we speak, she has regained her freedom amid temporary.
The appeal process has officially not commenced, but lawyer for Akuapem Polo says they are ready when the state is ready.
We have filed an appeal canvassing all the points that authorities, cases that we are going to rely on, written our address in full. So we don't have anything to do again. We only have to sit down, wait for them to serve us hearing notice and to give us the date for the appeal proper.
Police investigators on Friday wrapped up a detailed reconstruction of how a 10-year-old boy was allegedly killed by two teenagers at Kaswa Lamte. Ismail Mensah Abdallah was killed on Saturday, April 3, by two suspects, Felix Nyaku, 16, and Nicholas Kiki, 18, who told the police after the arrest that a spiritualist demanded a human being as well as 5,000 cedis so they could be made wealthy. The crime scene experts for several days spent time taking notes on how the teenagers lured the boy to his death and the subsequent attempt to bury his remains. Joseph Akable was at the home of Ismail and has filed this report.
It's Friday afternoon and a crack team of crime scene experts are busily gathering evidence. It's the scene of the gruesome murder of a 10-year-old boy, which investigators believe was for money rituals. Their goal is to reconstruct in detail how the boy was lured to the crime scene, which is actually a few meters away from his home.
Since the incident happened, as far as we know, this would be the second time. On Tuesday after the court, they rushed the boy, they brought the boys here, and our understanding was that they were going to do simulation, so the boys could reenact how the incident happened, how they carried out the dastardly act. And according to the police on that day, when I questioned them what they came to do, they said they didn't see the parent, or they couldn't get the parent of one of the boys whose age is being debatable now, whether 16 or above, and because to them the fellow is a minor or a potential minor, they needed the consent of a parent. And so anytime they will get the consent of the boy's parent, they will come and do that exercise. So my understanding is that once they came to do that today, it would presuppose that they got the parents' consent.
They wrap up the investigations after hours and move from the scene of the crime. The family of the boy remain troubled as they receive visitors. The National Council of Catholic Women are their visitors for today. Perpetual Opon is president.
We are thanking them in the name of God that the path that they took, the peace way, they chose the peace way and waiting for the law to take its course. We are very, very grateful to them. And the good Lord will replace Ishmael. Ishmael is a sacrificial lamb. That to open our eyes, especially women, there are so many social evils going on, all in the name of amassing wealth. 16-year-old boy, 15-year-old, what are you going to do with money? Billions, what are you going to do with that? What is it for? But sometimes the good Lord let something happen. The good Lord allowed this thing to happen to Ishmael as a sacrifice. And then, so that we will open our eyes and change. The change should come from us. The change should come from us. So let us all take this issue and take it that vengeance is God. But then through it, God has sent us to speak to the whole nation, to speak to our environment, the people, the youth there, not to allow them to do whatever they like. After all, You say, who born you by mistake?
The family say it is indeed a tough time for them. They, however, remain hopeful. Samed Akalu is spokesperson.
Yes, indeed, it has been a tragic moment for the family. No parent or family would ever wish, not even to your enemy, for such a dastardly act to happen. It has happened. For us as Muslims, we believe that whatever will happen is determined by Allah before it could happen on earth. And so we say, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. From God we come, and it's the same God will go one day. No one knows when you go and how you go. And so it is a reason that we have not taken the law into our own hands. We believe that Ghana is anchored by the rule of law. And that is why you saw the police continuously doing their investigations to ensure that the truth will prevail. So for us as a family, we cannot talk much. We are more than grateful. Aside from your time, your effort, the risks, all of you converging from other parts of the country to just come to this family, we think that it's only God who will reward you from all the things you may have lost in terms of time, resources to visit us, and to have even spent some amount of money and material to donate to the family. We cannot ask for more. We will say, God bless you.
Well, the police has in recent days dedicated some resources to try and address the crime situation at Kasoa after Joy News highlighted the plight of residents who believe not much was being done about it. A few more crimes have since been reported. So what is the problem with Kasoa? Joining me via phone for more is criminologist and crime researcher Dr. Jones Opokuware. Doc, I'm grateful for your time, but what has your research shown to be accounting for the rising crime rates in Kasoa?
Okay. All right. Good evening to your viewers and also to those listening to us. As I've already enumerated some time past, when you go to Kasoa, a lot of variables are happening in Kasoa. For instance, for you to understand why crime is at a state in an area like Kasoa, you have to look at those variables. You have to look at, one, residential instability. You have to look at the population density. You have to look at the socio-economic activities that is happening within the area. And so in most communities that have crime rates, these are basically the factors that operate. And if you look at the way Kasoa is configured in terms of the spatial characteristics, all these factors and variables are very high and operating within that area. And so when these factors and variables come in time and space, it's partly the kind of crimes that normally happen. And most of the time, the rates are high. And that is what is happening in Kasoa. And that is the reason why Kasoa is recording so much crime. Because one, if you look at the residential instability, people keep on moving in and out. And now once people keep moving in and out, and we don't have a profile of those people, we don't even know who comes in and who goes out, it becomes very difficult for you to police crime. And now once there are also socio-economic activities growing up and coming up so high within an area, what happens is that a lot of criminal opportunity structures are created. And now once criminal opportunity structures are created, and now criminal targets become very common. And that is why a lot of these things are happening.
But Doc, is it really simple to control people coming in and out of a community?
It is not easy. It is not easy at all. That one I have to be very honest with you. And that is why over the period, because we have left our borders porous, because we have also allowed a lot of foreigners and other people to come in, and we don't have appropriate data to map up and to profile people, what happens is that people who have other ulterior motives are able to come and mix within the locals. And now in an area like Kasoa, where you don't really have a lot of indigenous, where you say that these people living in this area are indigenous, what it means is that these people are basically from different parts of the country and also within the sub-region. And they are all congregated with different backgrounds and characteristics in Kasoa. And now when that happens, it becomes very difficult for you to police crime because you will not be able to identify people and the kind of behavior that they are likely to exhibit. And that is the difficulty that we have within that enclave.
No wonder the police seem overwhelmed with the situation, though they will not admit. But what do you think? Is it a matter of failed strategy by the police or something more than we think?
Yes, I mean, the truth of the matter is that the police are overwhelmed. That is the truth of the matter. Over the period, our police lack a lot of resources to police crime. So once there is that kind of incapabilities in terms of the police and the resources available to them for them to fight crime, and now it will be very difficult for them to contain it. So to be very honest with you, it is not just about the strategy, but it's also about the lack of resources on the part of the police. I also admit that, with time, the police have left things to, let's say, filter for a long time. Because you see, once the police continue to cite incapabilities and lack of resources as excuse, it becomes very difficult for them to look at the critical sectors of the community that they have to look at. And that is the reason why all these things are happening. So for me, the police, I must admit, have a lot of issues to deal with in terms of resources. But they must be able to work within the limited resources they have to start mapping out appropriate strategies that are unique to the Kasoa enclave.
I'm grateful for your time. Dr. Jones Opoku-Ware is a criminologist and crime researcher. You're still live on Joy News Prime. Now, a judge at the Nalerigu District Court refused to hear a case on Thursday after the plaintiff appeared without a face mask. Amadou Isifu, who walked the plaintiff, Big Adams, out of the court, also threatened to strike out the case and commit him to a week in jail for breaching the COVID-19 safety protocols. Big Adams was, however, spared the jail term after his plea. He's been speaking about the experience.
It's good order because I'm going to go to Shell. Halin chana Shell Galambaji in case Yentu Bellurin.
It is a good order because I'm a businessman who also sells face masks. Usually, I travel around with some in my bag. I've had to save a lot of people who were caught up at police barriers without face masks. But what happened today is that this morning I had a stomach upset. That's how come I came without a face mask. It's a routine for me, and I do have it with me everywhere I go. The example he cited in India, that some 2,000 people died of the virus yesterday alone. So I'm not surprised with the way he reacted.
2,000. So there's a one the banana has because
Still to come in this bulletin, 3 police officers have been interdicted after they were found to have brutalized a suspect in custody to death and then buried his corpse.
One opening Asuman, the second, the Achamehene of Sefa, together with Father Boys, assisted him, had a place, dug a grave, and buried him.
The family of the deceased is challenging claims by the interdicted officers that they did not cause the death of the suspect. Stay tuned in on Joy News. We're back in a jiffy. Welcome back to Joy News Prime. To the rest of our stories. The Bono Regional Police Command has interdicted 3 police officers at the Sekwa police station for their alleged involvement in the death of a 48-year-old man in custody. Abu Nepa is believed to have been brutalized to death by the officers who then secretly buried him. The deceased had been arrested for smashing the windscreen of a vehicle belonging to the manager of the Nkranman Rural Bank. The interdicted officers who were caught on tape exhuming the corpse of the deceased are said to have denied causing his death. But the family of Abu Nepa is challenging their account and questioning why the officers would want to secretly exhume the body.
Pacho, didn't me yaka busiana yaka police for na kunu dia yakun say. If you can yabusiano kwa, ma muhuye, didn't yaka say abusiano. Akase police for na kunu no se nipa se eso abaka ahwehwe se ka ahwehwe na wa abo a adentina obedi mu nsam adechi a no wawu na mo akasa kosie no se enyamo a na ho ha na kunu enenti na abusia na kase emu police for na kunu asama ya wo ho no because enyamo na mo ku na se dishia bi ba wu mu nsam ana so ofiri ba bi kwa na obeto ho no wu mu nsam a adenti ana mo mfa na ntiba bi. The
police claim our relative broke the windscreen. How come he wasn't found dead the next day? We believe the police officers killed him and went to bury the body. Even if it wasn't the police that killed our relative, why will they not look for the family members to inform them about his death rather than go to bury the corpse? We have the video and the picture evidence from some young men who witnessed the police officers burying the body. By the time we got to the area where the body was buried, they again exhumed the body to conceal the evidence. The police later deposited the body at the morgue on the Sunyani Highway.
Sunday anopa muti se abusia no ate se omache omode hye wose kwa mudi medika eba edimedika eba duru ho na moto amu no akọ.
Bono Regional Crime Officer of the Ghana Police Service, Superintendent Kennedy Edusei, described the action by the police as regrettable and says the matter is being investigated.
There are people involved. I've mentioned Abi, I've mentioned Obin. So, please, once we are here, I think updates will be given in due course. Let's make sure we do everything right to make sure justice prevails. Because this is an era of human rights. And we will not sit down for any human being to sit on anyone's fundamental human rights. No. We will do our possible best and make sure justice prevails. We should have known better by preserving the body at the mortuary for autopsy. But here was the case, the opposite happened. To him, one opening a suman, the second, the Achame Hene of Sefa, together with Father Boys, assisted him, had a place, dug a grave, and buried him. In that, he's a pauper, and that keeping him at the mortuary will be a burden on them.
Joining me via Zoom for more is Edmond Foley, who is a human rights lawyer and the director of programs at the Institute for Human Rights and Development Africa. I'm grateful for your time, Edmond. This raises issues of police accountability and, of course, an independent body to investigate issues of this nature. But this issue, sincerely, has been overflogged. How do we handle this going forward?
Thank you very much, my dear sister, and good evening from a rather warm Banjul, the Gambia. I agree with you that we have flogged this issue of police accountability. I started working on police accountability issues from as far back as 2005, and it is sad that we are hearing this story. I don't recall that we have heard such an infraction in our history that the police who are expected to have known better have come to this point. But I think the admission by the Bono East crime officer that some wrong has been done is a first step. From a human rights perspective, I think I would like to send the message clearly that the state has a duty to investigate. When it comes to such extrajudicial killings, international human rights norms place an obligation on the state to investigate. The duty to investigate will not only end at the independent body. The police has taken the first step. I expect that this matter would also go to the Professional Standards Bureau. But beyond that, the end result needs to be known by the public. We've had many investigations into police misconduct, and we don't know where they have ended. So it is important within the context of the duty to investigate that this issue, the state would give the citizenry a result as to what has happened to those officers. We just can recall this week the end of the trial of Derek Chauvin in the United States and see the public nature of the trial and sending the message to all the world that such conduct would not be countenanced. And so we should not only just hear about the interdiction, we should see the end result of this matter.
I'm grateful, Edmund Foley. He's a human rights lawyer and the director of programs at the Institute for Human Rights and Development in Africa. I'll take a break on Joy News Prime. When we return, we'll bring you more in business, where work on a major railway connection between Ghana and Burkina Faso expected to begin by the middle of next year. 3 firms have been shortlisted for the execution of the project. We are back in a jiffy.
Hello there, welcome to Business here on Joy News Prime. In this edition, the about 1,100-kilometer railway connection between Ghana and Burkina Faso is expected to begin by the middle of next year, all things being equal. This is the timeline that from both countries, as 3 successful bidders have been shortlisted for the project. It will open up trade between the 2 countries. Here is a report from a bidders conference held here in Accra.
The vision to have railway interconnectivity between the port of Tema and the capital city of Burkina Faso, Ouagadougou, remains a key priority due to its importance in accelerating the socio-economic growth and development of Ghana and Burkina Faso. The 3 bidders that were engaged at the bidders conference, which includes frontline investors Stelo BD, Motor Angel Africa, and Siemens, are expected to submit their technical and financial proposals by July this year to enable the 2 countries continue with the process. According to Railways Development Minister John Peter Amewu, the project is on course as planned.
Projects of this nature takes into consideration your financial capability, your technical capability, your past experience, and your ability to demonstrate that you can do it. So a lot of things were taken into consideration by the experts, which are the transaction advisors, in making sure that we arrive at these 3 competitive concessionaires. Yeah. Of course, these deadlines are part of the critical parts, and they are necessary for us to arrive, at the date of commencement of construction, which is the first quarter of 2022. So it is key. It's a part of the critical part, and we are considering very, very important. We don't want to give any room for any of these shortlisted, concessionaires to come back on it. So, and that is why the pre-bidding conference today spelled out some of these details. And I think most of them are aware of the details that have been spelled out in the morning section, which they have to adhere strictly to.
On his part, the Minister for Transport, Urban Mobility and Road Safety of Burkina Faso, Vincent Dabiju, noted that his country cannot wait to see this rail line operating. He spoke through an interpreter.
Burkina is a landlocked country and we are... okay.
J'allais dire que le Burkina Faso est beaucoup plus pressé que le Ghana même.
We have to say that Burkina is more urgent for Burkina than even for Ghana.
Voilà, là où je parle, le président Roch-Marc Christian Kaboré a déjà donné des instructions. Et chez nous, les terres ont été déjà libérés pour attendre donc le tracé du chemin de fer.
Okay, and our president has already given orders for lands to be liberated for this project to start.
Parce que c'est un grand projet qui doit booster donc l'économie du Burkina Faso et l'économie du Ghana.
And it's a big project that can help develop the economy of Burkina Faso and that of Ghana too.
The line stretches from Mpakadan through Hohoi and Yendi to the capital of Burkina Faso, Ouagadougou.
Now, the Ghana Union of Traders Association has observed some foreigners are devising new strategies to engage in retail trading in Ghanaian markets. That's according to the union. GUTA's chairman in the Ashanti region, Anthony Opong, says the foreigners are now taking their goods to the doorsteps of patrons while others mount tabletops to sell. This comes after a government task force closed down shops of foreigners for not complying with the trade laws of the Ghana Investment Promotion Council. Nanaya Ojima has more in this report.
The GIPC law prohibits foreigners from engaging in retail business unless they have an investment of $1 million and employ at least 50 locals. Non-compliance resulted in lockup of shops owned by foreigners, especially those operating in the Swami Magazine enclave. Guta chairman in Ashanti region, Anthony Opon, explains some affected shops have been opened following compliance to the laws.
And since the closure, those people whose documents had expired by then have been given the opportunity to regularize themselves. I myself have opened about 5 shops here in Kumasi of those whose documents had expired by then. All those shops that are still under locks are those who have flouted. They don't have the stay permit, they don't have the working permit, they don't have the GIPC registration and all the necessary documents.
Mr. Opon explains the foreign traders are perpetrating illegality in diverse forms. Guta wants the task force to commence the second phase of the exercise, which seeks to enforce the regulations in other parts of the city.
The exercise was supposed to flush out everybody operating illegally in our system. So we did the first phase because of time limit, time constraints, we couldn't go through all. So we ended at some place, and we earmarked some other places we were supposed to go, which couldn't happen. So the second phase, to the best of my understanding, is supposed to start from where we left and cover the whole city. There are people operating now. We have some operating on motorbikes. Some are distributing goods with distribution vans going as far as our villages to sell their goods. As you go to Achemfo Market, go to Alaba, go to Yachan School, you will see them displaying their goods in front of the lock shops.
For Joy News, Nana Ojima reporting.
Now, the Private Enterprise Federation is kicking against any moves to increase utility tariffs in the coming months. There are currently proposals by the various utility firms for an urgent upward adjustment in tariffs to keep them in business and deal with the current power supply issues. But speaking on PM Express Business Edition, Chief Executive Nana Osei-Bonsu said these companies have not done enough to justify any increase.
It is a very, very important item in the provision of business services. And if you keep increasing it, we don't have much of a choice. It's like food.
Now, which one comes first? They claim that they need this adjustment to be in business, to continue providing that service.
Let's look at the numbers. Let's look at their books.
You don't think it's justified?
I doubt it.
You don't want it to increase?
No, I don't want any increase. I will go alternative. I just told you, we can provide energy to different players at below 40% below cost.
Is that where you're getting to in the Federation, as in providing alternate power for your members?
In actual fact, tomorrow, we're having a dialogue with the Minister of Finance and others under the NDA, Nationally Determined, under the Climate Change Facility, that we're pushing to be able to allow to get the resources. Key point is resources. What we need are the financial support. If we get the financial support from various investors, we should be able to provide about 100 different areas, at least about 10 to 20 megawatts of electricity to feed industries in those communities. And that will come below what ECG is charging. So we want to push, and we want to test, and we want to compete.
The companies say that is this pushback. That is why we have, from private sector, from consumer, that is why we are here with this doom. So if we have increased the tariffs to more market.
I'm not trying to knock anybody, but when you fail to reinvest and your equipment deteriorates, and you're now going to doom, so don't blame me that I didn't pay my fair share.
Realistic tariff prices.
Realistic tariff prices. We didn't set a price. We have PURC, and they set a price. So the private sector is a beneficiary or victim of PURC pricing.
And that's it for business this hour. I am back after 8 with more. My name is Gifty Ando-Apia.
Many thanks for staying with us here on Joy News Prime Time to bring you the sports. My name is Hans Mensah Ando, and there are new guidelines for clubs to adhere to as fans make a return to the various match venues for the Ghana Premier League games this weekend to help enforce COVID-19 protocols. My colleague Haruna Mubarak has more in the following report.
COVID-19 cases might be off the radar, but it is indeed soaring. Ghana has 1,422 active cases as at April 18. However, the Ghana Football Association, Ministry for Youth and Sports, and COVID-19 Task Force agreed to allow fans back to match venues after 69 days for Ghana Premier League games starting this weekend, but with a 25% capacity. In the last few months, clubs have found it difficult to ensure the full observation of COVID-19 protocols. The FA's Communications Director, Harry Asante Chum, wants the clubs to take full responsibility to ensure protocols are well observed.
Your responsibility is to write to the police unit and request for police personnel on match days. Now, the first thing you have to do is to submit a copy of the fixtures for the whole year. So in our situation, for instance, we have category A matches, we have category B matches, and then category C matches. These things are known to the clubs. I mean, I don't want to believe that a club like Midema does not know the category A games that they have. They know that when they play Kotoko, it's a category A game. When they play House of Oak, it's a category A game. When they play Dreams FC, it is not a category A game. So mostly, the police personnel that we normally request for differ. They don't, I mean, you cannot request for 13 police officers for a game between maybe Dreams FC and Ashanti Gold, and request for 13 police officers for a game between Ashanti Gold and Asante Kotoko, because the two differ.
Many say the clubs are not capable of controlling the crowd, especially in big games. Teams like House of Oak, Mediama Sporting Club, Karela United, and 11 Wonders have been culpable in this circumstance. Henry urges the clubs to collaborate with the police.
They are not the same. The expectation, the pedigree, the euphoria, the hunger, and everything that go into such big games differ from an inter-allies Dreams FC match. So these clubs are aware. Now, the FA has never said anywhere that it is the singular responsibility of these clubs. No, because first of all, these clubs do not control the police unit. We make requests to the Ghana Police Service for personnel to be released to come and police our games. And it is a collaborative effort. So the officer who is in charge of safety and security for the club must work hand in hand with the police officers. And we have done it before. Now, how did Kotoko do it when they played against Inter-Allies? Yes, the argument is that a Kotoko Inter-Allies game is not the same as a Kotoko Ashanti Gold or a House of Oak Olympics game. No. At the end of the day, the first point of call is the entry point. If you are able to control the numbers at the entry point, you wouldn't have issues in the stadium. You sell the right tickets and 25. That is the only way you can control.
Now let's check out some of the Ghana Premier League and the Women's Premier League fixtures heading into the weekend, and we see Asante Kotoko play Mediama Sporting Club. Cracking game to look forward to. Liberty Professionals will play Brekum Chelsea. Busia Dwarfs up against Great Olympics. All of those games are on Saturday. On Sunday, Inter-Allies play Kinfaiza, Ashanti Gold versus Bechem United. Legon Cities up against Dreams FC at the Accra Sports Stadium, and Indiana Stars will play Almina Sharks. Wafa at Sogakope will play 11 Wonders, and another cracking game to wrap up this round of fixtures. Karela will play Accra Hearts of Oak. And in the Women's Premier League fixtures, we've got the Northern Zone has Northern Ladies playing Prisons Ladies, Ashtown Ladies versus Kumasi Sports Academy. Ampim Dakwa Ladies play Fabulous Ladies. Supreme Ladies will play Pelpia Ladies. Southern Zone, Sea Lions versus Berry Ladies. Thunder Queens up against Azakas Ladies. Immigration Ladies versus Lady Strikers. Soccer Intellectuals will play against Police Ladies. That's it for this installment. To bring you more sports a bit later in the bulletin. My name is Hans Mensando.
A sign on for showbiz. Ivy is here with the very latest. Hello, Ivy.
Hi, Aisha. How are you doing?
I'm good. Good to see you here.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
And you're looking fabulous.
Thank you. It's about father and daughter, right?
Yeah. A lot of people don't know this, do they?
What's up?
Oh, well, a lot has been going on in the entertainment fraternity. And you know, Ekwapim Polo is out. A lot of hula balloon. Congratulations going out to Marco Kekumante.
Yes.
For the deputy minister. Yeah, but let's get back to the main menu. So, I don't know, what is your take on marijuana and reggae artists?
Well, I think that, a lot of times people think that everybody who has logs on kind of do those kind of things.
Uses them, smoke.
They use them and all that. But hey, I think we have to look at it again.
Okay, so that is exactly what happened this morning in the studios of Hit FM when Dr. Neil Ante, who's also a performing and a recording artist, he's a reggae musician, when he was in the studio, he was vehemently talking about the stigmatization of marijuana and the fact that not everybody who wears locks or not everybody who sings reggae smokes marijuana. This is what happened in the studios of Hit FM this morning.
Music promotion, it goes beyond just the talent.
Yes, but
that's what I'm asking. Are they putting in the work in promoting your songs?
But when you come to a reggae station, when you come to a radio station, and the first question you are asked because you are a reggae artist is, do you smoke weed? What is the station trying to do? We are trying to stereotype reggae artists in a very negative image. Even though now, the weed crowd is becoming, worldwide. New York just legalized recreational marijuana anyway.
But you'll also agree that there are some roots reggae artists that also put out an image that proves they smoke.
No problem with that. But what I'm saying is that, what is the intent of that question? What is the intent of that question? To put some negativity around the roots reggae artists, because as at then, cannabis was illegal, and it's still illegal in this country. So when a reggae artist comes sit in front of, do you smoke weed? Do you smoke? I don't hear them asking any of the Afro beats artists or the dancehall artists those kind of questions. So they start putting a negative image on you. So you find it very hard when you go to a corporate company to say, oh, I'm putting on a reggae show. The first thing is, how we for there. And there are a lot of these guys who are top in the corporate industry, they smoke in their private time. I don't smoke though. Let me just make that clear. But we know, we move with people, we know. And we know what happens backstage when there's a concert where it's not even reggae artists. People do even crazier things.
Yes, and that was Dr. Neil Ante telling people to stop the stigmatization. Well, let's move from drugs and let's take a look at awards.
Okay.
Did you ever enjoy Zanku from Dope Nation?
Of course. There's no single Ghanaian
who never enjoyed that, right?
Zanku, yeah.
Okay, so you remember that they've won the Group of the Year before at the VGMAs, and I think they also took the Afrobeat. Well, this year they were nominated at the 3 Music Awards for Best Group category. They didn't win. They rather went on to win at the Sun City Awards, which makes them the best group in the whole of Africa. Now they've been nominated again in that same category at the VGMA. Last year they were nominated, they didn't win. And my colleague Dorian Avio was talking to them, and they're saying it is only fair that once they have won on the African continent, it is only fair they win at the VGMA.
They win back in their country.
Did you guys win any award at the 3 Music Awards?
Unfortunately, we didn't take an award. Yeah, but still, shout out to 3 Music Charity. They are doing a good job. I think it's really good what they are doing because they will give every artist, an opportunity to shine more. An award is like a tap on the back when they give it to you, Charlie. Go on the good works, just keep it up. So yeah, shout out to everyone who won to Stop Nation.
Of course, we moved, but now that we've moved, VGMA is also trickling in small. Nominees are out and everything. You got nominations, right?
Yeah, we got 2 nominations for VGMAs.
Was it 2 you were looking for it to have, or you wish you had more?
Well, left to us alone, like they no go nominate me for all of them, But it goes. We had 2 nominations, and we are grateful for it. We are looking out to our fans to vote so that we win. We take some home with the bab. Yeah.
Now with the categories, I know definitely maybe Group of the Year. Are you looking forward to win it?
Yeah, I think we are the best group in Africa. So if we are the best group in Ghana, I think it's quite fair. Any other person in that category might win on his or her own stance. So yeah, it's just fair if we should take a call.
So VGMA is just around the corner. We'll find out if they will.
We wish them luck.
We wish them luck. Okay.
Thank you so much,
So
Ivy,
that is it there.
for bringing us Showbiz. That will be it for Showbiz. Welcome back to Joy News Prime. To the rest of our stories. Another rainstorm has rendered about 700 people homeless in 3 communities and destroyed property worth thousands of Ghana cedis. The affected communities include Yape, Sankpala and Kosogo, all in the central Gonja district. Our Savannah regional correspondent Isaac Nonya has more in the following report.
According to the Central Gonja District Operation Officer of NADMO, Alhamdu Al-Hassan, officials from the district office have been on the ground assessing the level of destruction to enable them to reach out to the victims. Also, the 1-hour rainstorm saw the electricity supply cut off. Mr. Alhamdu Al-Hassan said the wires connecting the main transformer were cut as a result of the heavy impact of roofs that were ripped out from buildings.
Information from the assembly person from Yapi, around Yapi, about the windstorm disaster which occurred. I think around evening that it occurred. So we made our men to be on the ground to have a look at the situation and then to take the valid information that we need to see how they can be supported.
Roughly seen around,
yes.
What would you say is the impact?
In fact, it is not a small windstorm. It has been a big windstorm because as you can see, even it has affected electricity poles, and then some houses have been damaged. Schools are affected. Then those with some cannot even put up back their houses again.
The assemblyman for Yape electoral area, Idi Campbell, said today is a sad day in my community.
Today is a sad day in my community. It started yesterday around between 3 and 4 p.m. when the storm started. But whilst we were moving around, it started from the eastern side of the community. So the wind was blowing from that side. As I spoke yesterday, many people, houses were ripped off. Schools have been ripped off. Stores, containers, market stores, and many people have been displaced. Others have to sleep in their neighbors' houses for the day to break, and then they'll come. It took more than 1 hour.
There's an easy calm at the University of Ghana where a man believed to be a national service person is said to have fallen from the 4th floor of one of the halls of residence Friday morning. The victim of the incident, which occurred around 1:45 a.m. at the Mensa Saba Hall, has been identified only as Wahab Abdullahi. Reports say the occupants of the hostel heard loud bangs on the door and assumed hall authorities were hunting for purchase. Wahab, who is currently receiving treatment at the Legon Hospital, is said to have fallen from the balcony while attempting to hide. Management of the university has called for calm while police proceeds with its investigations. My colleague Manuel Kranting joins us via Zoom with more on this story. Manuel, what more can you report on this incident? I mean, tell us the latest on this incident.
Well, so Aisha, just like you said, there's some bit of an easy calm on the campus of the University of Ghana. Indeed, quite a number of them who I've spoken to here are quite perturbed and have been indicating to me that they are worried about how indeed this particular incident happened. And as you recounted, this the victim is actually not a student of the University of Ghana. That's a confirmation that we've gotten from the university management. Wow. He is actually a former student of the university who is currently undertaking his mandatory one-year national service. We're told that he came to visit the roommates, his former roommates in that particular room from where he fell, allegedly. And upon upon hearing loud knocks on the door, the particular door to the room where they were, they feared that hall authorities were on their hands for purchase. And this is the reason he attempted to, hide in the balcony. And for those who don't know the University of Ghana's campus, this particular incident happened in a hall called Mensa Staba Hall. In the nexus of the hall, the hall is a 5-story building, and this happened on the 4th floor. And so he fell all the way from the 4th floor to the ground floor. It was rushed to the University of Ghana hospital. But so there were arrangements made to actually transfer him from the hospital to the Kolebu Teaching Hospital for further care. I was speaking to one of his close friends who confirms to me that that was not successful, because when they got to the accident center at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, the reports were that there were not enough beds to have been able to admit him at that particular facility. So they brought him back to the University of Ghana hospital after taking some MRI scan and so on. Indeed, the university management has been cautioning and calling on the students to be calm, as the Legon police station, the Legon police command has actually taken over the case and has begun investigations. And it's quite strange, because the balcony from where he's alleged to have fallen is quite spacious, and you wouldn't imagine anybody having fallen from that place, except there might have been some extra force or an attempt to jump by himself. And so
but what has police gathered so far, Manuel?
Well, so the police, we are told, has been interviewing the roommates who have been narrating this same story that I'm telling you, that they were in the room when they heard loud knocks on the door, and they were fretting and thought that the hall authorities were hunting for purchase. And in the University of Ghana, students can actually lose their residency if they invite unregistered and illegal occupants into their rooms. And so that's just to give you a picture of why the students would have been spooked if it was actually the hall authorities. And so, upon that suspicion, they tried to, find some refuge somewhere. But that was what ended in this particular incident, which we are currently talking about. We are hearing that at the Legon hospital, he's currently on admission and he's being treated. We don't know the exact state, whether or not he's in a stable condition or his situation has actually worsened, because doctors have not spoken to us yesterday. But this is something that we are following quite closely to bring viewers updates as and when we get them, Aisha.
Manuel Cranton is my colleague, and he's reporting from the University of Ghana, where a gentleman fell from the balcony, 4th floor of the building. Now, members of the Upper West Parliamentary Caucus have expressed concern about the failure by government to provide seed fund to the Upper West Regional Hospital since it started operation. According to the Nadoli Kalio Member of Parliament, Anthony Suma, a former health administrator, one of the requirements before a hospital starts operating is a seed fund, another vehicular logistics. Now, this has been lacking since the hospital began operating 14 months ago and has had to survive on the benevolence of organizations and individuals. Rafiq Salam was at the meeting between the Upper West Parliamentary Caucus and staff of the regional hospital and has filed this report.
Among the myriad of challenges that were put before members of the Upper West Region's Parliamentary Caucus in their maiden meeting with stakeholders in the health sector in the region was government's failure to provide seed fund for the Upper West Regional Hospital. Members of the Parliamentary Caucus, though they are on recess, used the opportunity to tour the over 200-bed facility hospital to acquaint themselves with its operations and, by extension, challenges faced by the region in the health sector with a view to finding solutions to them.
When it comes to these things, we don't have parties. We have just members of parliament from the region. And I can assure you we are going to work closely together and with the regional minister. I believe that we can reach the highest point of decision making to make sure all the issues that are discussed, that are brought up, that require our attention and that require some actions will be taken into serious consideration.
Upper West Regional Director of Health Services, Dr. Damien Ponguri, led the charge and laid bare the health situation in the region in a little over an hour presentation. Member of Parliament for Nadolo Kaleo constituency, Anthony Suma, and his colleagues could not understand why the regional hospital has not been provided with seed fund 40 months after it started operations.
I'm not sure anywhere in the literature that I've read, there is a hospital that has started without seed capital or seed logistics. Let me just, for want of a better word, seed logistics. And not even a vehicle. Nowhere. So it must be magic to have gotten the hospital started. But that should not deny us of our entitlement. When they are commencing a hospital, these are part of the entitlements the hospitals must start with. That it must have seed capital, some logistics, and a vehicle. And I know from my engagements that some of the new hospitals that were established regionally, they started with as many as 1 pickups with seed capital.
Upper West Regional Minister Dr. Hafiz bin Sali noted that steps have already been taken to enable the government provide a seed fund to the hospital.
The regional director is aware that I have been in touch with the Director General of the Ghana Health Service together with the Minister for Health. It is at the highest level, but I will need the support of our caucus members. So I'm ready to attend the meeting. Once they are ready and they invite me, I'll definitely go to Accra so that we all go and they meet the Minister for Health and as well as the Minister of Finance. The issues that have been tabled before us, we'll have to table everything so that when we go there, it will be a comprehensive discussion, not only about the seed capital for this hospital, just about health delivery for the Upper West region.
Another area of concern was the inadequate medical doctors and critical health staff in the region. The region has 66 medical doctors. Half of the number are on steady leave.
There's no doctor in Wa East constituencies. So, Honorable, what can we do to get a doctor? The whole, your constituency, the population is close to 100,000 now, and they don't have a single doctor. And you saw the map. It's about the second largest or third largest in terms of land size. So the people have to travel long distances even to cross to one municipality to have access.
The member of parliament for the Wa East constituency, Dr. Godfrey Serujesao, is out about the revelation.
That we are already aware that healthcare facilities are scattered in the eastern corridor compared to the density we have in the western corridor. And so that aspect is something that I believe we can take up. But my point is that we should not despair. Once we started this kind of engagement, it means that we are beginning to fashion our solution and pathway to solving some of these problems.
The meeting came to an end with a pledge by the Upper West Regional Minister, the Parliamentary Caucus, together with the Speaker of Parliament, to contribute an amount of 70,000 Ghana cedis within 2 weeks for the installation cost of a PCR machine at the hospital. Reporting for Joy News, Rafik Salam. Wow.
Back here in the studio in Accra, my name is Aisha Ibrahim, but from the Upper West region to the Ashanti region, where Paramount Chief of Asante Asokore and board member of the National Peace Council, Nana Dr. SKB Asante, has reiterated calls for executive powers to be reduced. In a yet-to-be-aired interview on PM Personality Profile, Nana Dr. SKB Asante, who was chairman of the committee of experts that formulated the proposal for the Constitution 1992, hence the original document presented by the the committee did not recommend this much powers for the executive, adding he's worried the two major political parties have not shown any political will to address the situation.
The Constitution came into force in 1993. We were involved. I was the chairman of the Committee of Experts who made proposals. In our proposals, we made a number of suggestions which could have imposed some limitations on presidential powers.
Okay.
When it went to the Assembly, Constituent Assembly, these checks and balances were removed.
Wow.
Oh yes. I still maintain, and many people will say, that there's excessive presidential powers. It's true. But the interesting thing is that none of the political parties has made this a major concern or a major element of their manifestos. I'm yet to see any political party that says that when we come to power, we will reduce presidential powers. I haven't seen that.
Okay.
So
there's no political will.
Yes, it has political will.
The full interview airs at 9 p.m. just after Joy News Prime. Make a date. We'll take a break. We'll bring you more after this break. To the rest of our stories, it was often a Herculean task for pupils of the Sabisi Primary School at Nantonia in the Upper East region to fetch water for hand washing and for school's kitchen before the day's lessons begin. The nearest borehole was about a kilometer away, and this often resulted in their lateness to class or their lack of concentration during lessons. Correspondent Albert Sori, however, reports some relief has come to the people at last following the donation of a mechanized borehole to the school.
The Sabisi Primary School at Natugunia in the Kassina Nankana municipality currently has a population of 225 pupils. The school is under the Ghana School Feeding Program, which makes access to potable water very crucial, especially in this era of the coronavirus pandemic. Pupils in the upper primary level of the school often had to go fetch water from the community borehole located almost a kilometer away from the school. It was a tedious task which often resulted in their lateness to class or their inability to concentrate during lessons.
We always go to the borehole there. It is far, and fight for the community to fetch water. We even go, our cookers, we always go and fight to fetch water for them so that they will cook the food for us to eat.
First, we always go far away to go and get water to drink. We always go to the community borehole and go and fight with people for water.
A philanthropist, James Ali Grisbom, also a native of Natugunia who migrated from the community when he was a child to Burkina Faso and later to Germany, has drilled a mechanized borehole for the Sabisi Primary School. This is to help reduce the plight of the pupils. James Ali Grisbom is now a sales agent and after 25 years away from the country, has returned home to give back to his community.
I came back home and I saw, even when I was still a child, what was happening all here. What was about going for water every day, walking, and this heat weather, almost more than 40 degrees. Now, if we have the system that we can put and bring water, so it's better now to help.
His gesture has put smiles on the faces of the pupils and teachers of the Sabisi Primary School.
Now, when the borehole came, we can get water to wash our hands with soap before eating. I'll thank the person who did this borehole for us, that God will help him.
Headmaster of the Sabisi Primary School, Benjamin Agemina, said, school management often had a difficult time managing the pupils with regard to the COVID-19 protocols, since hand washing is a very crucial aspect of the protocols. But now, he says, that is a thing of the past. He used the opportunity to call on other philanthropists to assist the school with furniture.
We have infrastructure problems. We don't have furniture in our school. We are feeling that whoever this our message will touch the heart should come to our aid. Get us furniture and renovate our lower block for us, because our kids are sitting on the floor where we have it very difficult to learn.
The chief and elders of the Natugunia community who joined James Ali Grisbom to commission the borehole for the Sabisi Primary School were full of joy and expressed their gratitude to the philanthropist. Assemblyman for the area, Moses Alemia, said the mechanized borehole was not only going to serve the school, but some parts of the community as well. For Joy News, Albert Sorry, Natugunia.
That's a report by Albert Sorry. Now, the death of more than 171 people from road crashes in the Ashanti region in the first 3 months of this year makes it the region with the most deaths from road accidents. In a bid to reduce the fatalities, personnel of the Police Motor Traffic and Transport Department are being taken through training in the enforcement of regulation on speed limits. The training is in collaboration with the police and Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly. Prince Apia has more.
Road crashes have been a growing concern in Ghana. With the increasing fatalities on the roads, senior and junior staff of the MTTD have been engaged to be equipped in enforcing speed limits. After the training, the officers hit the streets to put their acquired skills into practice. Superintendent Emmanuel Edubuain is the Ashanti Regional MTTD commander.
We are recording so many crashes within the city, and the basic objective is to reduce the crashes. When the crashes are reduced, automatically the deaths will reduce. This is a training section, so we are going through the training. After the training, the machine or the device that we are going to be provided, it is not yet provided, but the machine that we are going to be provided is designed in such a way that it can capture multiples of vehicles, and we can slot it. It has a chip, inbuilt chip. We can fix it in a computer, and then we can show you the speed limit at which we were traveling. We can also give you the still pictures. So it is our prayer that just after the training, the machine also comes, and then we begin with the project.
Public Relations Officer of KME, Ifia Kunedwa Bwaje, says the training will help reduce excessive speeding in the region.
Road safety, as we all know, is a shared responsibility, and as city authorities, we thought it wise to do a refresher course and build the capacity of our police service, especially the MTTD. And so KMA, in partnership with Bloomberg Initiative for Global Road Safety, has embarked on this 4 days training exercise for men in the MTTD to equip them on data-led enforcement, speed enforcement, and then practical hands-on deck. So as you saw earlier on, we went to the Durban stretch of road. They monitored the speed of the cars coming, and then there were caution and other things that they gave to the people there. So basically, we want to reduce the speed within the city, and it's mostly the plan was for those in the Greater Kumasi Enclave. But then the regional director of MTTD thought it wise to invite men from the other districts so that together we will be able to reduce road crashes and others in the region as a whole.
Latif Awal's reports for Joy News.
Right here at Joy News, we are continuing with our Drive Safe campaign, and Araba Kumsen has this week's editorial on the many road crashes in the country.
Are you next to die? Let me ask you again, this time very slowly. Are you next to die? Why am I asking this question? It's because between January and March this year, 771 people have died. That's almost 800 people. Let me paint the picture clearly to you. Imagine 16 buses lined up on a journey, with each bus capable of seating 50 people, crushing and killing all the people on board. That is what has happened to us in just 3 months. 3 months. Per the statistics, Ghana is on the average losing about 9 lives daily to road traffic accidents. All these people probably called their relatives on the phone and said, "I'll be back, see you soon." But this promise became goodbye, leaving behind sorrow, tears, and pain. In just 90 days, no, forget that. 90 sounds so long. In just 3 months, Ghana has recorded 4,009 crashes, and over 4,200 people have been injured. Some of those injuries are life-threatening. Those who have injured their spinal cords have been totally paralyzed. And those who have had either both legs amputated, and there are some who have had both hands gone for life. There are those who have literally become vegetables. They've lost their memory and they can't do anything. Now, this qualifies for a public health emergency, and it warrants the release of all public health interventions to deal with it. In fact, it appears to have gone beyond a national security threat to the level of existential threat. This is because my existence is under threat, because I'm not sure when I would be part of the 9 lives that we're losing on a daily basis. Now, fatalities from crashes, according to health experts, are more than mortalities from many diseases combined.
If you look at deaths due to malaria, deaths due to HIV, and deaths due to tuberculosis, if you combine all of them, they are still not up to deaths that are registered from road traffic trauma. So looking at it, it means that we need to focus and redirect our attention to road traffic accidents.
This is truly a neglected pandemic, and I'm wondering, when will the state marshal its forces and arrest this before the lives of some VIPs are taken? That is, if our lives as common people do not matter. When are we going to have the president declare this as a public health emergency and give it the same attention and resources COVID-19 was given? And for those who don't know, road accidents have killed more people in Ghana in 90 days than COVID-19 deaths in 15 months. Let that sink in. When are we going to empower our law enforcement agencies to arrest traffic offenders without any interferences? When are we going to automate traffic operations so that the human factor that perpetuates corruption is eliminated? When do we plan dualizing our major roads where most of these fatal accidents happen? Now, we may say that we lack the resources, but we are losing 1.6% of our GDP to road traffic accidents. If we put in place measures that could prevent these avoidable accidents, we can use the same amount, which is approximately $800 million a year, to fix our road infrastructure. Is that really beyond us? The phenomenon of road accidents in this country is a neglected pandemic. We need to start taking it seriously, and by we, I mean you and I. Unless we're saying that we are ready to die, because that is the question you ought to ask yourself. Are you next to die?
And welcome back to business here on Joy News Prime. I'm Gifty Andopia, and I'm taking you to the farm gate now. Post-harvest losses in pineapple production remains a major worry to farmers in the Manso area of the Ashanti region. Farmers are wasting 20% of their crops because there is no demand for their produce. Prince Apia traveled to Manso Iswoin to assess the situation there. Here is his report.
On this stone, Akwesi Anthony sharpens his cutlass as a regular routine before he starts today's activities on his 5-acre pineapple farm. For close to 15 minutes, Akwesi clears the weeds growing on the farm all alone. Jata, as he is popularly called, ventured farming when the government issued a ban on small-scale mining in 2017.
I was an illegal miner, but had to divert into farming. I tried cocoa farming, but it didn't work. I decided to grow pineapples, and they survived. I have farmed pineapples for over 3 years.
After unsuccessful cocoa production, he began pineapple cultivation on his family land all by himself. He has invested 4,000 cedis in this year's cultivation, but struggles to get buyers. Pineapple production in Ghana continues to concentrate in the central, eastern, Volta region and the Greater Accra regions of Ghana. There are few farmers like Anthony here in the Ashanti region who have decided to enter the market and make some impact. But for some time now, this 5-acre land of pineapple is struggling to get market. One after the other, this have become of most of the crops on this farm. They are rotting away because of lack of market. 30% of his pineapples are rotting as a result.
For over 3 years, I have cultivated pineapples, but sometimes I don't get people to buy the produce. At least I invest 4,000 cedis in every cycle, but the investment sometimes go waste.
Farmers here have been encouraged by the government industrialization drive and got into farming, but are struggling. Agriculture economist at Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Dr. Robert Edu says value addition is critical to address the post-harvest losses.
What largely accounts for this is the fact that we have so many producers, and when the market is not that well organized, as we have in the case of cocoa, then you have a situation like that. So farmers produce and they are stranded. They don't have people to buy. So the marketing agents, the middle people, the purchasing officers will just come around and offer any price at all. For any agricultural commodity, if you leave it like that without any board, marketing board in place, then as we describe in economics, it is the forces of demand and supply that will determine the prices. And as you know, most of our farmers do not have strong bargaining power. Value addition is very important if you want the local economy to benefit from.
My name is Chumes Yankra. My work is fruit juice. I do natural fruit juice. No preservatives.
This is Chumes Yankra, a fruit juice seller at Tech Junction in Kumasi. In recent months, he seldom produces pineapple juice because patronage has declined.
I do natural. The pineapple juice, people don't like it so much. Pineapple, no, minya supply because of the market no need a week.
I receive pineapple supply weekly because of its low patronage compared to other fruits like mango and banana that comes every 2 days.
Pineapple there, it will last.
This perhaps could be the reason for Anthony struggling to get buyers for his pineapple. Anthony says he has the capacity to expand his farm with the requisite funding and market.
If I am able to get regular buyers, I can increase my cultivation.
So passionate farmers like Anthony would continue to farm, but until they get off-takers, in addition, to government support. Prince Apia reporting.
That's a very insightful one there, the troubles they're going through. Now, over 1,000 stores have been activated at the racecourse market to accommodate traders being relocated for the reconstruction or the construction of the second phase of the Ketia redevelopment project. Traders paid 3,000 cedis to build temporary containers on the land allocated to them by the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly. More in this report.
Leader of the affected traders, Isaac Amuinti, says most members are currently at home, while others are plying their trade on pavement. This has affected their economic livelihoods. A month ago, some traders at the central market were relocated to satellite markets in the metropolis, including the racecourse market. Affected traders were given space to rebuild over 1,000 shops to start their businesses. Isaac Amuinti says the current unstable power supply is delaying their project.
We have currently constructed 1,000 structures. We are waiting for the traders to come occupy these structures. We thank the mayor for helping us to acquire this place. Each of the traders paid 3,000 cedis for the construction. If not for the power outages, this project would have been completed by the end of May.
Some of the traders called on the KMA to help provide good roads, security and fire station at the market.
We plead with the mayor to construct the road. We need him to beef up security in the area to prevent any crime. We also need the fire service to prevent fire outbreak.
Public Relations Officer Ifiakunedwa Boaji spoke to Joy News.
We've been informed by the Chief Executive that he's in constant talk with the Minister of Road to be able to get some 2-kilometer stretch of road from the 100-kilometer earmark for the Kumasi Metropolis so that the racecourse market, the stretch there, can be dealt with, and that of Nanefia Kobe market. Every market in the Kumasi Metropolis has a security of volunteers within the market, and there are already some there who have been taking care of the others who are trading there. We'll increase it as they get settled in, and then we are also in talk with the police. They give us patrol team who goes there every now and then to see how the place is. The racecourse market is just 10 minutes away from the Konfanoche, where there's a Ghana National Fire Service tender station there, and they will get there in no time. However, if they insist that they need a fire tender, they will have to let the authorities know, and then the Ghana National Fire Service know how the procedure is to get a station at that particular place, and then we'll follow due process to get them one day. But for now, it's just 10 minutes away from where the current one is just 10 minutes away from them.
Let me take you through international business summaries now. And that's it for your business this hour. I am done for today. My name is Gifty Ando Apia. I shall be here to continue, but before that, let's do some sport after this.
My name is Hans Mensah, and time to bring you the second installment of sports. And Abedi Pele has a wonderful career with the senior national team, the Black Stars, scoring 33 goals in 73 appearances. He's one of the best keepers of Ghana, yet his monument in Tamale is in a poor state. Joy Sports George Adu Jr. was in the northern regional capital a couple of weeks ago and comes through with his report.
Greeting you on your way to the Aliu Mahama Stadium in Tamale is the popular Abedi Pele roundabout, named after the greatest footballer to have emerged from the northern regional capital. Abedi Pele, from Real Tamale Republicans to Real Tamale United, out to Al Sadd, back to Real Tamale United, before his football story would properly get on course and blow up into what the young here are told and read about.
So this is the Abedi Pele roundabout, clearly named after a three-time Africa Footballer of the Year, Abedi Pele, who is still alive. And this was supposed to honor the kind of work he had done for Tamale. Remember, Abedi Pele played for Real Republicans, the Colts Club, moved on to Real Tamale United, and has done so much since moving out for the country and for Tamale. It's supposed to be the points right before the stadium when you get into Tamale to tell you about the greatest player this town has produced. But it's clearly not in the right state. And we're here to find out just why Abedi Pele's roundabout is not looking like what it's supposed to be.
This roundabout was meant to remind visitors and indigents about Tamale's gifts to the world. Imoro Mohammed, also known as Honorable Polo, former assemblyman of Sokpele and government appointee for Tamale Metropolitan Assembly and member of the Work Subcommittee, explains.
Somewhere in 2007, when Ghana was preparing for the CAN 2008, a new stadium was supposed to be put up in Tamale here. And Tamale Metro Assembly had embarked on a program dubbed Tamale Beautification Program. This Tamale Beautification Program included the beautification of our roundabouts. The assembly, led by Dr. Aminu Adam Anta, now Deputy Minister Energy, was the Metro Chief Executive, came together and decided that all meaningful sons of Tamale, born here or outside, should lend a hand in the preparation towards beautification of Tamale. We then decided that any other person who contributed towards that beautification, something will be done about him. So the runabout here at Nyohene, the runabout at Lemeshego, one at Bayawea around Zosemele runabout, which is called Zosemele runabout, and another one at Chobu. Abedi Pele, Zosemele and Dr. Chobu made contributions towards that. So his contribution towards the beautification of Tamale, and for that matter, this runabout, was why Tamale Metro decided to name it Abedi Pele runabout. So a statue of him was put there, and later on it was defaced by some unknown people and a hit-and-run drivers. So the hand of that statue was broken. That defaced it, and it was no longer beautiful.
I wondered why this roundabout, which at first sight reminds you of what football means to Tamale, has stood unattended to for years. I heard interesting theories propounded about who needs to do what. Unless I'm wrong, expecting the legend to take care of a monument meant to honor him appeared a bit stretched and begs the question, what happens if he's no more? But the maintenance theory, according to government appointee for Tamale Metro, Honorable Polo, appears to be the solution for now.
It would have been much better if he hadn't left it in the hands of Tamale Metro Assembly. At least, if I were him, I would have come to put the statue myself and beautify the place because of the brand name Abedi Pele Roundabout. I would have done that.
Ghana's greatest footballer surely deserves more. And even if the Tamale beautification project has hit a snag because its originators no more, the state of the Abedi Pele roundabout must be immediately fixed and with a plan that sustains it.
And of course, we'll bring you more later at 10:30 p.m. on Fun Zone. Let's check out some of the fixtures coming up in Europe this weekend. And already Arsenal and Everton are involved. Everton lead Arsenal by 1-0. Also on Saturday, there is Liverpool up against Newcastle United. West Ham United at home to Chelsea. Sheffield will play Brighton and Hove Albion. And then on Sunday, Wolverhampton Wanderers will play Burnley. Leeds United will play Manchester United at Elland Road, and Aston Villa play West Bromwich Albion. On Monday, Leicester City will take on Crystal Palace to round up the fixtures for this weekend. And that's it for sports. Many thanks for your time. There is more sports at myjoyonline.com/sport. I am Hans Mensah.
And as I wrap up the bulletin tonight, my name is Aisha Ibrahim. Many thanks for watching. Log on to myjoyonline.com for more news and updates of all the developing stories.